Hello everybody, it's Mystic, and welcome back to my library. This is another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, and I am playing this pretty much right away after recording the last one because I need to know what's happening. My mind is like all over the place right now, and I need to know. I think we're starting to look into Hermes and Medion right now, so we are going to start doing that. And let's see what we find out. See you, the woman standing in front of yonder building. Her name is Ismene. She is the one who made arrangements for my stay in Elpis, and from what I recall, she has held her position here for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Questions for me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. Greeting, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes, and I was wondering if you might indulge her. Certainly, Mistress Vana. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? What kind of person is Hermes? What are his interests? I mean, both are kind of important questions. What kind of person is he? Well, I can only answer that from my own experience, but I would describe him as a quiet man, reserved, you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. The man is a walking archive when it comes to life forms. He can discuss any species in incredible detail and is the leading authority on concepts with the power of flight. I hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? How long has Medion been here? How long has she been here? I cannot rightly say. As the chief's personal creation, Medion has not been subjected to observation and study like other concepts. So one day she was simply there, and what do you make of her abilities? I understand that she is a highly unusual familiar, able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I've not had the occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. Do you trust him? I beg your pardon? I've known Chief Hermes for many years. Though I cannot say we are close, he has never withheld information to the detriment of our duties. Is that what you mean? Forgive us, we seem to have veered slightly off course here. Is there perhaps someone else who could tell us more about Medion? That would be Timaeus. He has a similar expertise with flying concepts, and is more than eager to discuss the subject. You'll find him conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and, unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and your insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Come, Celeste, I think we've taken enough of Ismene's time. Our investigation is off to a fine start, wouldn't you agree? From here, I propose that we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers, if you could track down the colleague Ismene mentioned. While I did feel compelled to interject once or twice during that previous conversation, you seem more than capable of drawing forth the answers you seek. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once you finish speaking to Timaeus. Yes, I am Timaeus, but please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. So, what is it you wish to speak about? Is it true you're an expert on flying creations? What do you think of Chief Hermes' flying creations? I'm scared. I'm going to start with this one. Chief Hermes' work, a worthy subject indeed. Those being which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favorite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the chief creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high that they disappear from view, others would traverse the boundless sky in moments, and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. Medion too is a marvel, then? My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Medion as a concept, I have never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know that she has a gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes could choose to submit Medion's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will the design be registered to for public scrutiny? Oh, so she hasn't been submitted yet. Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Do you know of Dynamis and Entelechy's? If you could tell me more about Median... probably the first one. Dynamis and Entelechy's. Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis which exhibited properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence of interest? No. Then why bring up the subject? I'm flattered that you sought my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to. Okay, so he didn't know anything about anything, really. Aside from the fact, but I think we already knew that Medion hasn't been submitted yet, right? I think. I'm starting to have a thought and a theory, and I don't like where my theory is going, unfortunately. But, this happened right after Zodiark was defeated. Remember that voice when we defeated Zodiark and he disappeared and Fandaniel was like, "Oh, you know, my plans are working, blah blah blah." That's when the end of days started, and somebody started saying from the planet like, it's time or something like that. I think that might have been Medion. I don't have any reason for thinking that other than the fact that Medion is able to change people's emotion and is able to, like, thrive on people's emotion, and that is around the same time that everything started going to heck on the planet. Because we know that Hermes eventually becomes Fandaniel. We don't know what happens to Medion, right? My theory, and please... Oh, I have to stop hitting my microphone. I'm sorry. Don't comment whether I'm right or wrong here, please. But my theory is that Medion is who was talking to us from the planet. And I hate that I've got that theory now, because I absolutely love Medion. But the fact that Fandaniel becomes Fandaniel... What happened to Medion? She's so in tune with his emotions and his thoughts. Could she not have been driven mad too? I don't know. I'm a little worried now. Back already. That was quick work. You were obviously clever enough to head off any of that rambling Ismene mentioned. So have you new findings to share? I see. Even an expert in the field has little understanding of Medion's capabilities, let alone an awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Medion as a personal project and could provide no details beyond those which you just told me, which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach any definitive conclusions. God, I hate that I have this theory now, but I can't stop thinking about it. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis and the Entelechy's which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, yet alone study them in any depth, except for Hermes, it seems. Thus, I am inclined to stay our current course and learn all we can about the Chief Overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note you can tell me about Medion, aside from her unorthodox method of communication? There are more like her. She has sisters. She has sisters and were created to journey to the stars. Yeah, this one. I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? So these siblings of hers now travel the great expanse in search of a deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unresolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Next, I propose we take ourselves to Peripetea Crystalline, not far from here. Just follow the path to the west. I hate that I have this theory now. I really, truly hate it. But I can't stop thinking about it, and I think I might be onto something. My memory is crap, but I tend to have pretty good theories when it comes to, like, thinking ahead on what's going to happen. I just can't remember the past. I don't know. My brain is weird. This tower and the one further along are both part of Peripetea Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Elpis's observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we're here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lessons short and see what those two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there anon. Okay, there's a helicopter flying over my house, so if you hear that, I apologize. You have questions for me? Certainly. Just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed. So if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what was it you wished to speak to me about? The Chief Overseer's personal research project, and by that I assume you mean Medion. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Medion appeared, only that she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although, I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galeen shared with me. Ah, Galeen is my partner and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She was returning late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending Medion heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. That sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Vanat, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with a retelling of this sight, which so delighted your Galeen? Of course, or you could hear it from her lips directly if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject in Metabaseos Thalassai. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans recreated in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Vanna, even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. No thanks, I don't want to go to the star. Indeed they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels is awesome. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as the basis of many techniques still in use today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody that nature with as much enduring passion as you. I dare say there is not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day that you depart on your final journey. Everybody's like wanting her to die. This is weird. I will be honored. I mean, I know that that's what they do, but like, could you imagine saying to somebody, like, I look forward to the day you die? Hello? Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galeen in person? Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. Thanks. That would be most helpful, thank you. That's cool, they could just change the door? I've opened the path to the Skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arriving to the upper tier, walk straight across the Skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance to Metabaseos Thalassai. Galeen will be eager to share her tale with you, I'm sure. Mistress Banah, just passing through? Then allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there is always an observer or two out on the upper Skyway. Okay. It pays to have Vanah with us. We're just getting around everywhere. Oh, wow. I was like just taking a sip of coffee while I was running around, but this place is gorgeous. Like from up high? Look at this place. I think that's where we came from, that building over there. That's really cool. Complete side note here, but I bought a new oat milk coffee creamer. It's so good. I think it's like Planet Oat vanilla oat milk creamer. The reason I got it is because it's actually pretty low in like sugar. I don't like things that are too sweet. So, especially with my coffee, it's very good. I like it a lot. Mistress Vanna, I was not told to expect. We would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there is no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak with Galeen, if that might be arranged. Yes, Galeen, of course. I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a... Wait, should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she is ready to receive us. Yeah, I agree. Let's just chill here for a little bit.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view.
Yep. It's so pretty.
What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
Which world? There's like 13 of them or something. Some parts, yes. Others, not so much. I mean, that's true. Like, if you go to Garlemald...
Dark, hidden places, rife with danger. Those have an altogether different, but no less powerful sort of appeal.
God, Garlemald was in this expansion. We have been on quite an adventure already, and it's not even done.
While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures?
How long do you have?
Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans.
That seems like a bad idea, but maybe okay, fine.
But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveller. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
We must be telling a very funny story. We really have been on a lot of great adventures, haven't we? I both love...
Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it.
I mean, you kind of were. Oh, she kind of was. Okay. I'm alright. I'm alright. Like, I love that we're sharing this with her, but at the same time, like, I'm worried that we're really causing an issue right now. But at the same time, like... Okay. Alright, I'm alright. I'm good. I'm good.
Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word. As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world. What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles, each and every one of us, born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me, an epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true, and a presence without. Immense, yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace.
And then in our time, it's her that does that.
As
I still can't
reassuring
believe...
as it was intimidating. How keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance.
I still can't believe we're talking to her. Like, I really can't. Like, I know we've talked to Heidelin for years, but, like... Okay. I'm alright. I'm alright.
I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath.
Hear, feel, think?
I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong. And amidst it all a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose, my love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it.
Since we know she becomes the heart of Heidelin, does that mean she never actually returned to the star? Because, I mean, she's still doing this. Like, she's still helping people to this day.
The moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
She's like our mom. Like, oh. I mean, mostly.
Pray forgive my lateness. My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone, like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up, then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Matea, rather.
Matea.
There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though.
For what?
He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
This is so cool, this whole door linking thing. You just click on a door and it takes you wherever the heck you want to go. It's like Narnia, but controlled Narnia. I like it. So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. That would explain a lot about why Fandaniel is the way that he is in present times. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter more likely possible. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why, or even if, he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. I just realized I haven't been equipping my new stuff, so give me a moment. I should like to visit the site from which Hermes sent forth the Matea. If we are fortunate, we might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Galeen said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult for the to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? I suspect it's that tree. It's been kind of, I don't know, something about it. We keep seeing it from a distance. Now, if we were conducting some mystery research, where would we go? Ah, what about that one? Have you the means to fly? 'Tis quite a distance away. Not yet. I haven't found all the aether currents. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argos. Oh, Argos! Moon puppers! My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Celeste here over to that island? Stubborn creature, there is no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and still he remains obstinate in the presence of strangers. Argos has rather exacting standards, I'm afraid. I've actually met him. What? You've ridden him before. Ah, your before, meaning my after. Not at all confusing, that. Interesting. 'Tis certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, the quick solution is for us to face off in a sparring match. I'm sorry, what? Demonstrate to him that you are capable of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argos that you're worthy of his back. And besides, I might even teach you a thing or two into the bargain. Okay? You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember, a memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? Choose your battlefield, I guess. I admire your confidence. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await for you at the clearing over yonder. We're fighting Vana. Oh, it's been a while since I've had a solo duty. Shall we begin? Be warned, I'll not go easy on you.
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will!
Okay. Oh, geez.
You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared. I have seen enough.
Oh, good. Okay. That was something.
'Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you.
That's right, you did.
One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azem when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, her strength was astounding. As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys.
Looks like Argos is finally cool with this. 2 moon puppers!
Well now, I dare say he has warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
Interesting, because he just appeared to us on the moon out of nowhere. And now we know why. Argos will soon have us standing on the very spot where the Mattia made their departure into the night. With luck, we will learn something of Hermes' intentions. My hope is that we will find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us, rather than against us. I don't know. Knowing what I know. Let us move over to the edge before mounting, shall we? That will allow Argos to catch the currents rising up from below and give us a smooth ride over to the isle. Argos motions to his back with his muzzle. You've been given the go-ahead to hop on. Yay! Yay! Isn't this pleasant? Argos certainly seems to think so. Now, what was the name of that tree? Noah something? Ah, Noah Taforion. I didn't get to see what she said. Shoot, I don't know if I can see it. Oh wait, what, quite a striking specimen, is it not? Kind of looks like a cherry blossom tree. Just a very big one. Brace yourself for the landing. I wouldn't want you tumbling off at the last moment. Grass is almost taller than me here.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment. The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before?
Is she talking about the echo?
So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you.
This is so cool.
Come and stand before me. There are 2 ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether. As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles. End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness.
Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last. Every step of the way, I've been reminded how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us. Diverse in form and culture. Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
Utterly unlike... how?
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No. I will think earnestly on them all, and I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life. Meteon, though I gave you wings to soar the heavens, I did not teach you how to walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet. Learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples? Covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food, perhaps a flower. Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
This is what she was trying to do for him before. So Meteon is supposed to go somewhere?
So, what is your opinion?
Hermes wouldn't wish for the final days. Hermes is a gentle soul, and yet... I don't know. I want to believe, but at the same time, I know who Fandaniel becomes, but maybe I shouldn't let that cloud my judgment. I have to go with this one. I want to believe.
I'm inclined to agree.
Thank you.
As we had suspected, the two are somehow involved. Yet 'tis difficult to believe that they would deliberately seek to end all life.
Yeah.
In light of this, I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself. If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution. Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness. 'Twould not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
I'm still not sure. God, like, I'm still a little worried about my theory about Meteon being that voice that we heard too, but like, I feel like I don't have the full story yet. So maybe I need to see what happens. obviously. There are any number of places where Hermes might be in Elpis. But we could do worse than look in Kitsis Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in Ethocelaticos Boreas, the Northern Isle. I wonder, Celeste, for an institution which claims to studiously research every species destined for release into the world, did you not question how they find room for them all on so few islands? The answer lies within Kitisis itself. I guess it's Kitisis? I touched upon the practice before back in the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same holds true for the interior of this facility and its magically constructed environs. 'Tis there, with those sprawling habitats, that the chief overseer and most of Elpis's observers conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the Naeus north of Poyet and Oikos. These words are gonna... Oh my god. These words are gonna be the end of me. Ah, good. The Naeus acknowledged you as my guest. You should now have the authority to use it as you wish. As for the road to Kitisis Hyperborea, we follow this path, then turn left at the crossroads. Kind of looks like what we saw in Amarat. Here we are, the grandest research facility in Elpis. We should head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility, as we have just discovered. Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into Dynamis, as well as his creation of Meteon, were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appeared to possess the chief's depth of knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear any tales of stolen research. Which means that if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he might be recruited to help prevent one. We came to the same conclusion. Or so saith the industrious Emet-Selch. According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents in the final days, but were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodaeus' sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of a solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is if the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we failed to perceive it. And what better fits that description than the invisible, intangible Dynamis? Which in turn leads us to our next question. How did Hermes, in his role as Fandaniel, not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew and was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced at perceiving truth, and we wouldn't have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish for the world to end. Of that I am certain. We also came to the same conclusion. It seems there is more to the tale after all. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. How comforting. We seem to have reached the exact same conclusion. Yeah, we have. I see no reason to further delay. Tis time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Thank you for understanding. Please stop being mad at me. I'm sorry. Save your thanks. I did not say I believed your ridiculous story. Gosh darn it. But as Emet-Selch, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I may find it. I think the time for leisurely exploration is past. If I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is. On the next isle over, Meteon is with him. Hermes appears to be in the midst of an observational study, but I suggest we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path. We can teleport to Mesopsis Euros from the device at the bottom of the slope. They are close by, within the Hungering Gardens. That would be the circular enclosure you see just up ahead. Well then, Celeste, make yourself useful and bring Hermes out here to us. If we were to go, he would assume I was only there to press him on the Fandaniel matter. Of all of us present, you stand the best chance of convincing him to put aside his work for the moment. But the creations in there are not exactly... Then again, perhaps Celeste can handle them. She did survive a bout with Vana, after all. Off you go to find Hermes, but do be prepared to come to blows with the garden's denizens. The Hungering Gardens. This sounds terrifying. It's terrifying. Yep, it's terrifying. Huh! Celeste, what are you doing here? I thought you were keeping Hythlodaeus and Emet-Selch company. An important matter and unrelated to my decision on Fandaniel, you say? Then yes, I will come as soon as my work here is finished. It will not be long, I promise, but you should really wait outside the garden with the others. This is no place for idle exploration. You spoke with Hermes, then, and were briefly entangled with the denizens of the Hungering Gardens as well, I see. Or, I should say, smell. I cannot speak for certain Convocation members, but I, for one, am impressed with your fortitude. Well done, indeed. Now that you've convinced Hermes to confer with us, let us pray that things will soon take a turn for the better. For as fascinating as it would be to meet the Emet-Selch who would recreate Amarat in the depths of the ocean, I think it best for all concerned if such tragic events never came to pass. Agreed. Be it in our future or your past, assuming yours is not truly written in stone. Naive hope, that is. Hermes said he would not be long, yes? Then we shall wait here until he emerges.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Aye. A matter of the utmost gravity. If one can suspend disbelief. Go on then. Tell him what you told us. Who you are, and why you came.
Am I telling him that he's Fan Daniel?
Final days.
The phenomena observed during these star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction. And none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction. We come not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom. And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter. On the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to dynamis. Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics. In the second, it warped the people themselves. The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age. As you know, ether, in essence, negates dynamis.
It's literally like dark matter and a normal I don't know. Is there a different word for normal matter? I'm not a physicist. I have no idea. Is it a physicist? I don't even know that.
Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics. In contrast, having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether.
I just had another thought about Medion, because I'm still stuck on this theory. The final days started affecting creation magics. Could she be the first casualty of that? Because I'm still stuck on the fact that I think that was her as the voice. And there is no reason for her to have become bad unless she was the first one affected. Could she be the one that caused it, though? But then, what would cause... Okay, hang on. I think I'm getting ahead of myself.
Thus are they susceptible to the influence of dynamis and its transformative potential. But that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source. The source to which the victims must be attuned. One that harbors the selfsame negative emotions, elsewise it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
Victims must be attuned.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
So, we've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere. According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested. If the inciting factor came from without Aetheris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm.
Oh
I
my...
wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts. May we please be friends?
I was right. No.
Meteion. What is it?
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness.
It's her. It's
Connection
all of them.
established. Commencing status report.
No.
It hurts, it hurts.
I hate
It
this.
hurts. So hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
Steady, Meteon. Steady.
So scared. So lonely. The pain. It's too much. Why? Why do we... They hurt.
No! No!
Hate! This is wrong. All wrong.
She's gone? But how?
The ones that went out. Right? Didn't he say something about the emotions needing to have a source? None of them, like, they were just picking up on others' emotions, right? They didn't have a source. They were the cause of it. Even though he didn't mean them to be, I think they were the cause of it. And I think I was right. Shoot.
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings.
What?
An ability for avoiding confrontation.
Most effective. Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
Stay away. Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right? In your mind? No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteon also employs dynamis. That would explain why you were able to hear her, when we could not.
Because I have some of it.
Then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.
I think my theory is right. I think she was that voice, and I think she was also the one to get turned first. Probably because the sisters were all sent off, and they didn't have a way to have a source for their emotion, I guess? Like, I'm still trying to figure this all out. And I think I was right. I think I said this in the last episode. She has the ability to control others' emotions. And I think she's going to do something to Hermes, aka Fandaniel, to cause him to start having, well, changing into who he is now. And I think with the destruction of Zodiark, who again doesn't even exist yet, it somehow brings her back. I'm convinced that she is that voice. I'm convinced that she was that voice. And so now it's just a whole matter of figuring out how it all happens. But, like, that's my theory. Again, please don't tell me if I'm right or wrong. I want to be able to figure this all out on my own, but that is my theory for the moment. You calm your mind, your senses questing for any hint of Meteon's presence, but you fail to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Also, this is going to be a heckin' long episode, but I need to figure out what's going on, so. It seeps into my mind, our voices reporting. It's the sisters. No, Hermes, he mustn't hear them. I have to run, to hide. Meteon's anguished voice grows distant as the source seems to flee down the slope. Yeah, it's the sisters. He just wanted to learn. He didn't do this on purpose. He just wanted to learn. Greetings and salutations. Huh? Commencing report. Oh no, we can't tell them that. We must run. Run far away. Please, don't follow me. Meteon's anguished voice fades as you sense her climbing to the top of the ridge. How? How did it come to this? Is this the reason we traveled to the stars? Why we sought out other life forms? Is this it? Is this the answer? No, it cannot be. It cannot be. She drifts away to the south, compiling report for dissemination to Hermes and all peoples of Atheris, processing expedition data, preparing profiles on intelligent civilizations, formulating answers to the question, finalizing report. No, Celeste, you mustn't listen. What the heck did she find out? It's wrong. It's all wrong. Her anguished voice flees towards the lake. Any signs of Meteon? Panicked and confused, which will make it all the more difficult to predict her movements. Hermes, what do you make of the situation? The media are linked in a single mind, a shared consciousness which connects them across any distance. I suspect something has happened which disrupted its usual harmony. How might we access this shared consciousness of theirs? Much as you would approach any sentient being, directly. In the Mitia's case, that means speaking to any incarnation within physical reach. So unless we can track down the Medion we just lost, we have no means to communicate with them. No way of knowing what befell her sisters, no way to provide directions or guidance. Then we had best set our musing aside and concentrate on how we might find her. What was up with him a second ago? Oh, my dear Medion, what did you witness out there that frightened you so? Why do you seek to keep it from us? How terrible could it possibly be? Follow, wander, stumble, listen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Medion renders herself invisible by matching her etheric density to that of her surroundings, does she not? If so, could we not then disrupt her concealment with a surfeit of ether? Much like how Emmett Silk solidified your presence when we first met you. Don't be absurd. I can hardly channel ether to a recipient whose whereabouts are hidden from me. Which is why we must all work together. Celeste will continue the search in the same manner as before, but this time with you in tow. Once she ascertains Medion's likely location, you proceed to reveal our wayward familiar with a swift ethereal downpour. Very clever, and thankfully she has made herself easier to capture by fleeing towards Leth. Assuming she is made visible, it should prove no great feat to herd her into a corner. Then we have our plan. Celeste and Emmett Silk will be our tracker and trapper, respectively, while we others predict and obstruct Medion's avenues of escape. Emmett Silk and I will keep an eye on each other's ether to help coordinate our efforts. Let us be about it. I'm going to just keep going. I really want to see where this is leading, so again, this is going to be a long episode, but I gotta know. Well, it seems we are partners for the time being. Let us return to where we last saw Medion and pick up the trail from there. I will keep myself in a state of preparedness, ready to rain down ether at a moment's notice, meaning it falls to you to keep the way clear. Why can't I fly? Are my functions being restricted? Hide. Yes, I'll have to hide then, where no one can find me. She went into the lake, as if this wasn't tiresome enough. Well, at least that open expanse should make it easier to find her. We won't lose her this time. We should be able to reach the bottom of this drop by climbing down the rocks at water's edge. Do not even think of dragging me over the falls. Final days or no, if I end up drenched from head to toe, I swear I will feed you to a remora. Okay, I will keep that in mind, Mr. Grumpy Pants. Not here. I'm not here. Please? By that rock, is she? Very well. Why? What? Why can't I hide? There's no need to run, Medion. We will hear your report, good or bad. Celeste, what are you saying? Everything is so faint. I'm sorry I'm not strong enough. Stay away. I'm begging you. Don't make me say it. It will break him. His poor, fragile heart. Now we have a chance. Once the others are in position, the two of us can herd her into their midst. Wait, I don't know if I actually can ride. I don't want to lose Emmett Silk. Is this Neos not in use? It seems to have been left to the mercy of the elements. Either way, it bears no trace of Medion's essence. We move on. There, I see her. They are just having us run all over the heckin' place, aren't they? Where is she going?
Aha! Give chase. We shall herd her into the shelter.
Please, Mission. We must speak.
I'm sorry, Hermes. I'm so sorry. If someone can hear these words, then please, please protect them. Protect them all.
What?
Individual self-suspended. Connection with shared consciousness stable. Our survey is complete. We shall now report our findings. All units safely arrived at their respective destinations. Seeking answers to Hermes' question, we attempted to make contact with the intelligent denizens of each star. Results are as follows, in order of numerical code. Enna. Traces of civilization found. Structures believed to have served as domiciles. No extant life forms detected. Dio. Ruined remnants of buildings scattered across star, surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life could not be verified.
Sorry, truck is like super loud truck just went by. Ruined remnants of buildings scattered across Star, surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life cannot be verified. Okay.
Tria. Evidence of large population centers, akin to cities, recovered. No extant life forms found, only their lingering essence. Tessera. Edifices surmised to be abandoned residences found. No extant life forms detected. Deadly plague or extreme environmental degradation likely to have led to mass extinction.
They are all dead.
Octo. Star found in state of violent conflict. Contact successfully made with inhabitants, but deployment of weapons of mass destruction resulted in total annihilation of local population shortly thereafter. Inea. Star is a barren desert. No identifiable flora found. Bones of living beings resembling men discovered beneath sands, but determination regarding their intelligence inconclusive.
Remind me, Hermes, what exactly was the question you entrusted to Meteion?
I tasked her with asking what others live for. What gives their lives meaning.
Oh, God.
Did you consider what may happen if the premise of the question is flawed? To be able to answer it, one must be living and desire to continue doing so. But if Meteion finds no living beings in the course of her journey, or none who desire to live, what then? What answers would she derive from their silence?
Meteion, enough! Suspend your mission and return hither at once.
Decapente. Local civilization once flourished under auspices of higher power. Said power later laid waste to civilization in fit of rage. Upon revealing this to me, entity elected to self-terminate in lieu of providing answer to question. No other intelligent life forms found.
Turning a deaf ear, are we? We are taking Meteion back to Amarot. As I understand, we will need her if we are to bring back all of her sisters.
Maybe don't go to Amarat?
Yes. Meteion. It isn't right, is it? It isn't right to turn away from the answer. Even if the answer is pain. Even if we aberrations must scream ourselves hoarse to be heard. Aye. Whatever answers we find, I will not dismiss them out of hand. These words I said to you, and I will hold myself to them.
Hermes? What are you doing?
What is the meaning of this?
You cannot take Meteion. Not until she has finished her report. All else must wait.
You fool!
Oh my god. Why, Hermes? Why would you not leave well enough alone? Will these answers assuage the pain you feel when a creation is returned to ether? Had you never cast your accursed question to the distant stars, you may have one day learned to be at peace upon this one. Loath as I am to do this, I have to stop here. My son's gonna be home from school soon, so I need to stop here. But I hate that I think I'm right. Again, please don't tell me, but I think I'm right about Meteon. I kind of want to go back and watch that episode now. But this sucks because I was really getting to love both of them, and I mean I knew Hermes was who he was, but I didn't know about Meteon. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to end here. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I don't know, I'm debating recording more of this tonight, although my kids go to bed kind of early, so I may not be able to because my office is right next to my son's bedroom. But yeah, I really want to keep playing. I can't right now. I've got to be an adult. But yeah, I will hopefully get a chance to record more either tonight or tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. You can also follow me on social media. Do the whole YouTube member fan house sub thing, which are optional monetary supports. Again, optional. Don't feel obliged. Yeah, I need a break now, I think. I'm kind of a mess. But I will see you all later. Bye.